No excuses. If you're here to combat something for your mental health, from the neck down or the neck up, I need you to see what your body can do when you give it a chance. I need you to experience what your body has the capability of doing when you give it a chance. Okay, so this is not designed for convenience. I designed this challenge for treatment, not convenience. So the thing I'm looking for is not, Lisa, I'm so happy you're the best person ever. It is, I can't believe it. I just went to my doctor and they said they don't know what I've been doing, but they took me off of 2 medications. I don't care how you feel about me. I care about how your body feel about me, okay? So I need you guys to give this thing a try because it works. I've been coaching for years. It works.
Optimal health is not a privilege, it's a right. However, unfortunately, the overwhelming majority of health challenges today can be attributed to lifestyle. This includes our physical activity, the quality of our relationships, stress, purpose and fulfillment, and of course, our diet. But what if there was an alternative? What if we could prevent and combat these health challenges with lifestyle changes before pills and procedures? You are listening to the Plant Protocol podcast with yours truly, plant-based health and business coach, and now the forever voice in your head, Lisa A. Smith. It's time to come get this health. Hey, podcast listener, it's Coach Lisa, founder of the Plant Protocol 30-Day Vegan Salt, Oil, and Sugar-Free Challenge. And we are so close to our next one starting on July 1st. Now, one of the things people have before they join the 30-Day Vegan Challenge and throughout is a ton of questions. And it's a ton of questions about stuff like, what about soy? How do I get my protein? Is this sweetener okay? Can I at least have natural sugars? And so in today's episode, I thought it would be super cool for you to hear a replay from one of our previous challenge classes. And in this replay, I am doing a live Q&A answering all of those commonly held questions and concerns about what's really wrong with oil and what kind of sweeteners can I have during this 30 days. And I'm sure you're curious to know the same. And so instead of waiting until July 1st, why don't we give you a little sample of what to expect and answer some of your questions about what to eat, how to cook, and all the things in between. So that's what you're going to hear in today's episode, a wonderful replay of me facilitating a live Q&A session in preparation for our 30-Day Vegan Challenge. I hope this answers all of your questions. And if you haven't already, make sure you get registered to start with us on July 1st and then share the link with your accountability group. I tell you, this challenge is much better when you do it with other people. You're going to need that support when you're in those no sugar trenches. Trust me. So make sure you get registered and enjoy today's episode.
Here's what I got to tell you. So remember earlier, I told you we're here for remission. So I did a lesson during our last challenge called Believe This, Not That. And so I want to show you one of the things that I told our challengers last time for our spring edition, what they needed to believe. Okay. And then I'm going to break it down for you, and then we'll open up all of your questions. Okay. So the first thing I need you to believe to be successful in this challenge, and let's see who's willing to be honest. If you're interested or if you're doing this challenge with us because you have a health challenge that you're trying to combat, like currently you're either diagnosed with something, or even if you don't have a diagnosis, maybe you have a really unhealthy relationship with food. Maybe you have stuff going on with your body and you're not sure what it is, even though you haven't been diagnosed with something. Here's what I need you to believe. If you're here to combat something, I need you to believe that this challenge is treatment. Because if you look at it just like a temporary experience that you're just trying out, you won't do everything we ask you to do. You're only going to do the things that you feel comfortable with. Treatment is not comfortable. The mission of treatment is to put something in remission. The treatment is not meant to be convenient. It's meant to put something in remission. So if you're like, Lisa, no, I got to get this weight off of me once and for all. Like, Lisa, my sleep is horrible. I got to stabilize my mood. My emotions are all over the place. Lisa, my memory, the brain fog is killing me. I can't even work. I can't focus. I'm trying to start this project. I'm trying to run a business. I'm trying to write a book, but I have writer's block. I have creativity block. My mind is not firing like it used to. Lisa, my blood pressure, doctor trying to put me on a 4th medication. My cholesterol crazy off the charts. Lisa, I'm trying to get pregnant. I need fertility. I need my body in the best shape possible to bring a child into this world. Whatever it is, I need you to treat this challenge like treatment. That means we're not just taking advantage of an opportunity to learn something and maybe do a little bit if we feel like it. No, I'm putting myself in treatment. I'm checking myself into treatment, and I'm going to follow the protocol until I get the result. So I need you to believe that this challenge is treatment, not that this challenge is extreme, unrealistic, or doing too much. I need you to believe that this is treatment, not that it's doing too much, over the top. Lisa is crazy. No sugar, no oil. But when I break down to you why those things are keeping you at the health status that you are, you'll understand. But the first thing I need you to understand that this is treatment. Here's the second thing I need to show you, which is the difference between a treatment and a maintenance protocol. Here's what some of us are doing, guys. Some of us need treatment, but we're operating like we've earned maintenance. We need treatment. We're not optimal, but we're eating, moving, and making health decisions as if we're on a maintenance protocol. So let's look at the difference. If this is treatment, Lisa, what exactly does that mean? Treatment means some things you just have to practice abstinence. There is no moderation. It's got to go. Treatment means consistent workouts, not just when it's convenient, not just if it's the weekday, not just if you're not on vacation, not just if it's not the holidays. No, consistent workouts. Treatment means you establish non-negotiables. You got the holidays coming up, you got events coming up, and well, it's the holiday party. I'll just have a little bit. Lisa, this is all they had. You knew you was in treatment. You should have ate before you left the house. Ain't no, this is all they had. I just had a little bit. I mean, my stomach hurt for 2 days, but you in treatment. So treatment means non-negotiables, y'all. Treatment means perfect attendance. That means you show up for class. When I'm teaching live during the challenge, so we got another masterclass next month in November. We'll have a VIP only masterclass in December. And then during the challenge in January, I will be teaching you guys 2 times per week. We're going to be together Wednesday evenings and Saturday mornings. You need to be in every class. Why? Because of the last one, which is coaching and community. When you're in treatment, you need guidance and you need support. Is this making sense, y'all? You're going into treatment. Here's what a maintenance protocol looks like. And this is what some of you guys have been doing, even though you're trying to combat something. A maintenance protocol looks like moderation. I could just have a little bit. A little bit won't hurt. Every blue moon, I deserve a treat. I deserve a cheat meal. I earned it. I'm stressed out. I need a drink. But you in treatment. You still got high blood pressure, your diabetes, your A1C, your blood sugar off the hook. You should be in treatment. But a maintenance protocol means I've done the work in treatment to earn a maintenance protocol. Does that make sense? So it's not about, oh, I can never have. No, you can have once you heal. Then we can reestablish what it might look like. But a maintenance protocol means a little some things in moderation. You might be able to have some vegan junk food every now and then. Yeah, we can get fries every now and then, but not when you're in treatment. You can't have that oil. You already know. Cheat meals, missing classes, accountability partners are in a maintenance protocol. In a treatment protocol, you have a coach. So now that the foundation is established, y'all ready to get in Q&A? We permission to move forward. We got treatment versus a maintenance protocol. You understand that this challenge is treatment. Okay, so let's get into questions. I'm going to get into the biggest and most popular ones first and answer those. Here's the first one. How do I get my protein? A couple of you guys have asked about protein, and a couple of you guys have asked about how much protein should I be consuming. So here's what you need to understand about protein. If this is your first time taking animal products out of your diet, okay, with protein, all protein comes from plants. When you eat an animal, you're just eating the middleman. So they eat the plants. The amino acids, which are the building blocks of protein, are in the plants. They eat the amino acids and we eat them. That's the mechanism of how we get protein. So when we take animals out of the diet, chicken, turkey, fish, seafood, pork, beef, when we take animal products out of the diet, eggs, dairy, we are now going to get our protein directly from the source. So we are not at risk of a protein deficiency. we're actually getting better quality protein. There's a difference. All protein is not created equal. Animal protein and plant protein is not the same. Okay. So it is very easy to get adequate amounts of protein on a plant-based diet in the absence of eggs, in the absence of meat, in the absence of dairy. And you do not need a supplement for it, guys. You will not need a protein powder. Okay. I personally don't take one. Here's what I'll say. For those of you who are maybe skeptical and you might say, like, if I'm not eating this, I'm going to be deficient in something. The best way to make the best decision for yourself is to get blood work done. Let your blood work tell you what you're deficient in versus you saying, if I'm not eating chicken, I must automatically be low in protein. That is not true. So if you don't believe yet that you can get enough protein from fruits, vegetables, whole grains, legumes, nuts, and seeds, which you can, but if you don't believe it, please, 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 before you run out and buy a powder or some type of supplement that you may not even need, just get data to make a decision, which is, and data in this case is blood work. Okay. And the final thing I'll tell you, somebody asked this, is how much do I need? So it is simply 0.36 times your weight in pounds. So you can do the math, because the best way to go into this challenge is knowing what you need in the first place. Some of us, we think we're going to be protein deficient and we don't even know what deficient means for our body. We don't know the number when we eat meat, but as soon as we stop eating meat, we think we're not getting enough, but we don't know how much we was getting before, right? So here's the protein requirements, guys, okay? So protein is going to be 0.36 times your weight in pounds. Okay, so this is your weight in pounds. All right. So let's say somebody was 145 pounds. That will be 0.36 times 145 means they need approximately 52 grams of protein per day, minimum. Okay. So that's how you calculate your protein, is simply 0.36 times your weight in pounds. And that is the minimum amount you need. What most of you guys are probably finding right now as you're doing the calculation is that you need way less than you thought. Way less than you thought. And that is the minimum. Now, let me tell you guys what may make this fluctuate. Who needs more? You might need more if you are older. As we age, we might need a little more, right? You might need more if you are pregnant. You might need more if you are a heavy weightlifter. So this measurement, this formula is the minimum you need for biological survival, just to have adequate amounts for your biological needs. That makes sense, guys? So that's answering the protein question. All protein comes from plants. Protein does not come from animals. They eat the amino acids in the plants and then we eat them. So when we're eating plant protein, we're just cutting out the middleman. Please don't run out and get a supplement with no evidence of a deficiency. And that's not just for protein, that goes for anything. As soon as you stop eating animal products, some of you guys think, okay, now I'm not getting enough calcium. Now I'm not getting enough iron. And you just want to supplement your heart out, but you don't even know if it's true. So I'm not saying you'll never need anything. I'm saying you don't know. Okay. So we want to make data-driven decisions versus making fear-based decisions. So that's the protein question answered. All right. Here was the next popular question. What's wrong with oil? Why are we doing no oil for this challenge? Okay. Somebody said, please repeat the plant protein sources. So it could be fruits, vegetables, whole grains, nuts, seeds. It's all whole plant foods, whole real food that doesn't come from an animal. Okay. All right. So here's the next popular question that you guys asked, which is, what's wrong with oil? Why are we doing no oil? Lisa, I thought oil was a health food. Okay. So first things first, when it comes to oil and any fats, is this. Okay. Olive oil is a fat. All oils are fat. Okay. And all fats are a mixture of saturated and unsaturated fat. Now, here's the reason olive oil, for example, is purported to be a health food. It's because it has less fat than animal products. So, for example, chicken is about 30% saturated fat. Olive oil, though, is 14% saturated fat, so it's lower. So here's where it gets confusing. When something is technically better than something else, we automatically think it's good for us. Just because something is worse doesn't mean what you're choosing is optimal. So here's a couple issues with oil. The first is that it's 14% saturated fat. Okay. That's the first issue. And saturated fat is the fat that clogs our arteries. So the number one cause of death in the US is heart disease. So people are dying from heart attacks and strokes and congestive heart failure. Top cause of death in the United States. That heart disease comes from clogged arteries, guys. Oil clogs the arteries. It is not a health food. I'm going to tell you, though, that doesn't mean there are not health benefits. So the most popular thing that people brag about when it comes to oil is something called polyphenols. Okay. This is simply an antioxidant. But here's the thing. It's not that oil has polyphenols, the olive does. So what we've done is taken the whole food, broken it down, right? And now we have processed it. Oil is a processed food. It's not a virgin food. It doesn't come from the earth. All oil is man-made. So what you can eat is the original fruit or vegetable that the oil comes from, right? So we can eat a coconut, but we definitely not eating coconut oil. For example, coconut oil is 83% saturated fat. That's our artery clogging party. So we will not be utilizing oil throughout the challenge at all. It is too much saturated fat. But the confusion about it is, does it have some health properties? Absolutely, like polyphenols, like antioxidants. But again, the health properties come from the whole food, and we've just processed the whole food. So get the polyphenols from plants. Like you can get polyphenols from citrus, from berries. You don't have to eat oil for it. So it clogs the arteries, okay? Especially for females, like the reproductive health system, when we think about that time of the month, our menstrual cycle, it really increases the painfulness. If you already have cramps, it increases the pain or the discomfort that comes with cramps during that time of the month. Okay. It can also make it really hard to eliminate, much harder to eliminate. It kind of turns our blood into sludge, right? And so when we think about, anybody know this word? Did I spell that right? Viscosity. Should have just said it. Okay. The viscosity simply means how slow or fluid a liquid is. So the viscosity of water is really high, right? And that's what we want our blood to be like, right? Or just the opposite. So we want the viscosity to be low, excuse me. So we want our blood to flow like water, not like honey. Honey is thick and it flows slowly, right? So what we want is for our blood to flow fluidly like liquid instead of something slow like honey. And so oil is going to cause problems with that. It can damage the endometrium, which is the lining of the arteries. And then here's the final one. How many people are here to lose weight? If you are trying to lose weight, or even if you have something like blood sugar issues, like you're pre-diabetic, diabetic, but let me start with the weight. Oil is about, let me write this down, 120 calories per tablespoon. So when we eat a lot of oil, so most of us cook with oil, but then we'll eat fried foods or we'll eat things, we eat chips and stuff that are made with oil, popcorn that's made with oil. All of that oil, most of us don't know how much oil we really get in our diet. All of that is a ton of additional calories with no nutritional benefit to match. So it's also going to significantly stifle your weight loss, like significantly stifle your weight loss. And then if you're diabetic or pre-diabetic, it is going to compromise your ability to get your A1C down, because a bunch of oil, or the better word here is a bunch of fat, saturated fat in your diet, causes insulin resistance because it blocks the sugar or the glucose from being able to get into your muscle and liver cells. So the oil sludges up the entrance into your cells, and that's where insulin resistance begins to happen. And when you have insulin resistance, that can cause metabolic challenges, which prevents or increases your chances for obesity, is the better way to say it. Okay. And so insulin resistance is going to be increased with oil. So we need unsaturated fat in our diet. Oil is 14% saturated fat. Coconut oil is 83% saturated fat. We're going to eliminate all oil for 30 days because you guys are in what? You're going into treatment. Yes. Excellent. So I don't want to hear that. Lisa tripping just a little bit won't hurt. Baby, a little bit been hurting you for 20 years. When you going to get it? Okay. What you mean? A little bit been hurt you, right? So we don't have any more room for that. Okay, so we're going into treatment and we're going to practice abstinence, not moderation. We've tried moderation, it didn't work. Okay, very good. All right, so let's get into the next question. Now I think we can go faster with the rest of them. Those were the biggest ones about oil and about protein. Somebody says, how to substitute dairy with plant-based options. Okay, so we are not here to promote just veganism, meaning just simply the absence of animal products, okay? So what you will see in the market is a whole bunch of substitute cheese, milk, butter. So you can get vegan butter, you can get vegan cheese, right? You can get vegan yogurt. Vegan does not equal healthy. Vegan just means the absence of animal products. So when someone asks, what can I substitute with? The answer will be, it depends on what you're specifically substituting. So for example, milk is pretty easy. You can get a plant-based milk that's clean. When I say clean, that means no added sugar. If you're substituting milk, you can get a clean plant milk. You get a hemp milk, an almond milk, a soy milk, so easy, right? You just want to make sure they're unsweetened. But if you're doing something like cheese, the only thing I would recommend is probably nutritional yeast, okay? And you can also make your own nut cheeses. I know some people have nut allergies, but if you don't have a nut allergy, you can do a cashew cheese or almond cheese, which here's what you don't want. You do not want cheese made from oil. A lot, like the overwhelming majority of vegan cheese in the market is made with coconut oil, almost 100% saturated fat. If you look on the back of the package, it'll say 6 grams of fat, and right under that, it'll say 5 of them saturated. That's clogging the arteries, okay? So even the vegan cheese is junk, all right? So we're going to have to leave all the junk alone. Now, one of the first lessons that we teach you guys inside of the challenge, and maybe I'll move this up to next month, November, instead of waiting to January, is we teach you how to read food labels so you can feel more confident in the grocery store, okay? Because it needs to be the absence of oil, even if it's vegan. It needs to be the absence of sugar, even if it's vegan. Because you guys, you have seen, you can get sweetened almond milk. You can get sweetened plant-based coffee creamer. That's still crap. They done pour sugar in it, okay? And so we're going into treatment and we got to be super clean to get all of this mess out of our bodies. In the answering this question about dairy substitutes, I think the final thing I'll say is some things you can substitute cleanly. Others will just have to be abstinence. Like, for example, the only way you're going to get a clean vegan yogurt is if it's plain. If it's flavored, it's going to have sugar. It could be strawberry, cherry, blueberry, vegan yogurt. It's going to be full of sugar, y'all. So it's all about, I don't care if it says plant-based on the front. I don't care if it says vegan on the front. I don't care if it says all natural on the front. I don't care if it says organic on the front. We don't care about the front. We flip everything over and we read the ingredients. That makes sense? And we're looking for the absence of SOS.
Pardon the interruption, but I need you to hear this testimonial from our last 30-day vegan challenge in our Farm to Table plant-based coaching program, because we're quickly approaching our very next 30-day vegan challenge, and I need you to get registered as soon as possible. We have prep classes leading up to the challenge, and then we go crazy for 30 days. Whole food, plant-based, no salt, no oil, no sugar. Check out this testimonial.
Hello, I'm Lorraine. I participated in the 30-day challenge SOA, salt or sugar free, and also in Farm to Table. Leading up to the challenge in December, the challenge was in January. I started doing everything that I was supposed to do, like following all the protocol, everything. And I started seeing changes, which I like very much. In Farm to Table, I could not make the classes. I could not make every class. I signed up and I knew that I could make every class. It wasn't going to be perfect, but I say I have to do it because I had to make it work somehow, because I needed this. This is very important to me. It's my health, my life, my family. That's very important to me. It all has to do with me. Like, I had to be okay. I have to be healthy. So I signed up. I would miss some classes, but I would always listen to the replays on my way to work, on my way to the gym, on my way to running errands. I would always be listening more than once, twice or 3 times. So I really enjoyed it. I learned a lot. I followed the protocol. Before, my health issues were like I had high blood pressure, taking 2 medications. My A1C was always like high, which was like scary. I don't want to have diabetes. I know I don't want to be in that situation. And I had aches and pains, plantar fasciitis, persistent plantar fasciitis that would never go away. And even though I was doing all the therapy and all the things that I had to do, I got the shot, I do all the cold compresses, hot compresses, whatever I was recommended by the podiatrist I was doing, but it was like always there, persistent. After all this, things started to change. Pain started to leave my body. Mental clarity. I started to lose the weight. Oh, that's a good feeling. Started losing that weight really quickly. So by April, no, even before April, end of March, I already lost about 28 pounds. I was already off with 28 pounds. And pain left my body. My test result I got was the end of April, and everything was right spot in the middle. Normal. My A1C in the middle. High blood pressure, which I would monitor every single day, 2-3 times a day, was all within normal range. And I left the medication and I just follow up with taking my blood pressure. And doctor saw my record and like after the 2 medications. So that's a great feeling. And I know, Lisa, it's not the finish line. It's just my starting. It's not my finish line. I'm feeling good. We have a greater purpose in life, and the whole thing was about feeling good, so be able to fulfill that purpose. Yeah, so Lisa's voice is in my head. Every time I see things or they look in the store, I'm shopping, the ingredients, the rainbow, make sure you read the ingredients. I'm like, yeah, it takes me a little more time, but you know what? To shop, but the results are magnificent. I love it. I love where I am right now. I don't want to go back. So I do put in that little extra time to read the ingredients, make sure I'm shopping from the rainbow, make sure I'm doing the new tries. And yeah, I'm a work in progress right here. And I'm like so happy with what I have. So thank you from the bottom of my heart, Lisa. Great coach, very genuine, speak from the heart, speaks from her experience, and not sugarcoating anything. And I love that. Are giving us the tools, and it's up to us to use it. And if we follow, yes, the results, you can see it. And I've seen other people too with their results, which is very motivating and inspiring. So thank you very much.
Wasn't that amazing? If you haven't already, click the link in the show notes. Get registered for our next 30-day vegan, salt, oil, and sugar-free challenge. And if you're really feeling lucky, go ahead and move up to the front row and grab yourself that VIP ticket. Now back to the show.
So next question says, somebody said a crafty way to cook veggies. I don't know exactly what that means by crafty way to cook veggies. I'll tell you right now, though, I am not the chef on the team. Like you're going to get a lot of recipes from Coach Milan, Coach Tiff. In the challenge, we have an entire digital, vegan, SOS-free recipe book that we're going to give you guys. So every recipe is free of salt, oil, and sugar. So you don't have to think about it. You won't have to edit these recipes. Okay. Those of you who already have VIP, several of you have already been inside the portal. I mean, you've already checked out all of those downloads that we have for you guys. I'm going to show you guys the portal here shortly. But when it comes to cooking things, I don't know what she means by a crafty way of cooking veggies, but here's what I'm not promoting. Okay, nobody wants any bland food. So we're not saying your food have to be nasty or tasteless. We still use seasoning. We still use herbs. We still cook stuff. This is not a raw vegan challenge. Okay. I mean, let's call a thing a thing. Like, we're not going to eat it if it's not good, right? So will it be different? Absolutely. Will there be an adjustment? Absolutely. Because if your palate is used to sugar, like, I can't compete with that. You're just going to have to go through the withdrawals and things will change for you. But I'm telling you right now, you can still cook your food. You can still be, caramelize some onions. We're just going to do it in veggie broth instead of oil. And to speak to that, because somebody else asked about cooking without oil, like, what do we use instead? When we're cooking, we use liquid. So what I use the most at home, I've put some videos for you guys in the Facebook group before, is veggie broth. So I use low sodium veggie broth. I found a no sodium veggie broth as well. Okay. And I use really, really good pans, nonstick pans. And then because I'm cooking veggies all the time, veggies are typically 70 to 80% water. So here's the thing. It's not that you won't have any moisture in your food. It's not going to be dry. You put it in the pan, you let it cook and start liquefying. And then if it looks like it's sticking a little bit, you pour some liquid in there, like a cooking vinegar or your veggie broth or your cooking wine, because the heat will cook the alcohol out, and it will unstick, right? And you can season it and you can mix it with your rice or your roasted sweet potato, your quinoa, your black beans, whatever it is. So we just cook without oil. So no excuses. If you're here to combat something, for your mental health, from the neck down or the neck up, is don't cheat with the oil, guys. I'm telling you, because I need you to see what it feels like. I need you to see what your body can do when you give it a chance. I need you to experience what your body has the capability of doing when you give it a chance. Okay, so this is not designed for convenience. I designed this challenge for treatment, not convenience. So the thing I'm looking for on January 31st is not, Lisa, I'm so happy you're the best person ever. It is, I can't believe it. I just went to my doctor and they said they don't know what I've been doing, but they took me off of 2 medications. I don't care how you feel about me. I care about how your body feel about me, okay? So I need you guys to give this thing a try because it works. I've been coaching for years. It works, okay? All right, next question. Somebody said, how to stay on track when premenstrual hormones attack? Staying on track is all about mindset. Like, it's your beliefs and your mindset over everything. So sometimes when we have cravings, y'all, cravings can come from typically 1 or 2 places. Cravings can come from a deficiency in something. So sometimes our body will crave something because we haven't given it something it needs nutritionally, like vitamins and minerals. And then sometimes our body will crave something because of a dependency on a substance. So a lot of you, I don't know who's going to admit it, but a lot of you have a strong dependency on sugar, for example. So when you stop eating it, and a lot of you are going to be really good students and you're going to stop eating it before January. I believe in you. You're going to go through withdrawals. And so you're going to crave the sugar, right? So a lot of times cravings come from what we normally consume. You only crave what you consume. And you only have withdrawals and detox symptoms from stuff that you have developed an unhealthy dependency on. Like, because if you go 2 weeks without bok choy or Brussels sprouts or broccoli, you're not going to have any withdrawal symptoms. But as soon as you go 2 weeks without your morning coffee, your sugar, you're going to have detox and withdrawals. Your body has developed an unhealthy dependency on a substance. So I have no suggestions for how to get through detox and withdrawals without being uncomfortable. You have to do the hard work of being uncomfortable when you're trying to come off of these substances. Okay? You did the hard work to develop the dependency. You ate it regularly. So go ahead and do the hard work of abstinence. So during that time of the month or any other time where you're having cravings or anything like that, it's really about, what is my goal here? And am I willing to be uncomfortable long enough so that I can take my power back from food? But Lisa, I have to have chocolate. I have to have potato chips. I have to have. When you say I have to have, that's just you giving your power away. I can't get through the day without 2 cups of coffee in the morning. Okay. But I don't know what to tell you because you're adding a bunch of dairy and sugar to it, and now you're drinking an inflammation bomb every day. Sugar and dairy are the top 2 causes of inflammation in the body. And so it's going to be you deciding which one means more to you. Okay, next question. Somebody said shopping lists, making sauces, and meal prepping. We give you, so inside of the portal, well, VIPs, you'll get it inside of your portal. General admission, you'll get some links in the email. We give you an entire recipe book, an entire vegan, salt, oil, and sugar-free recipe book, plus additional recipes outside of the recipe book. We have plant-based desserts we give you, all of that stuff. And also, we give you a sample 7-day meal plan. Let me show y'all right now. Those of you who are going to be VIP, this will be in your portal that looks like this. General admission, you'll get some of these links in the email. So here inside of the portal, the challenge portal, you have your actual protocol that's in here. And so you'll be able to download the entire challenge protocol. So it's just a one pager of telling you the do's and don'ts that you need. So just like a quick reminder sheet that you can keep with you. So we have the challenge protocol in here, but then we have the entire recipe book in here. So you'll download your recipe book, the challenge recipe guide. So you'll be able to pull this up on your phone. If you're at the market, pick out the recipes you want for the week. We also have in here a sample 7-day meal plan. So we put together a sample 7-day meal plan for you guys that you'll download, and you'll be able to download that and get some meal ideas. Like, what should I be eating for breakfast? What about lunch? What about dinner, right? If this is your first experience with giving up animal products, don't worry, we got you. So a sample meal plan, a recipe book, plus additional recipes in here, desserts in here, and then additional recipes from Coach Tiff. So, I mean, there's no shortage of options and things to get your creative juices flowing. All right. So we provide that stuff. And VIP, this is what your portal will look like when you get in here. Okay. So I think that answered those questions. Let me look at the next one. Okay. Somebody said, can you please address self-deception about eating the wrong foods and believing we can throw a bunch of greens on it? I'm going to do a mindset segment at the end to talk more about how I need you guys to be thinking and where your mind needs to go to be successful. But I will tell you in response to this question that please don't think that you can eat some mess, then like flush it out with just water. Like, oh, I'm just going to do like a bunch of water the next day, or I'm going to try and fast the next day, or I'm going to try and do some type of special detox concoction that I mix up. You don't stop the thing. Like once you eat it, it's doing the damage immediately, whether it's to your arteries, whether it's to your immune system, whether it's to your gut. A lot of us, our guts are compromised because how unhealthy we eat, which brings me to the next question, which somebody's asking how to combat COVID. I'm going to answer that question in the more general sense, which is how to boost our immune system. Over 70% of your immune system is in your gut, y'all. So when you feed the bugs that live in your gut a bunch of sugar, a bunch of fried food and oil, a bunch of processed food with chemicals and food dyes and preservatives in it, we are destroying our microbiome, okay? Micro, small, biome, living organisms. That is what's in our gut. We have living bugs that live in our gut. And when we eat a bunch of stuff that is not clean and whole, but has been manipulated by man, created by man, all of this canned food, processed food, takeout food, fast food, bunch of alcohol, bunch of sugar, bunch of quick and convenient protein bars and protein shakes that's full of sugar. I've seen oil in protein shakes before. We go over it with our students in Farm to Table. It's crazy. When you eat all of that stuff, what you do is you make your gut acidic. When your gut is more acidic, that is when our immune system is compromised. Do you guys understand that? There is a connection between the health of your gut, your gastrointestinal health, and your immune system. So the more unhealthy you eat, the more processed junk, preservatives that you eat, the more your immune system is going to be compromised. And specifically with sugar, every time you eat sugar, your immune system is compromised for up to 4 hours. So now you're at increased risk of COVID. Now you're at increased risk of colds. Now you're at increased risk of the flu because you compromised your own immunity with your diet, with just your morning coffee with a biscuit or a bagel or a donut. That sugar, those refined carbs, those white carbs, all of that with no fiber, killing your gut. It's killing it. So if you want a healthy immune system, we have to feed the bugs that live in our gut, our microbiome, healthy, fibrous foods. One of the best foods to restore gut health is actually beans. There's a concentrated type of starch that exists in beans that really helps to restore gut health. Okay? So it changes the game. All right. So that was 2 questions in one. Next question. Joby said, what about oil that we put on our dry hair and skin? What can I use to replace? You don't need to replace those oils. So that's a good point. We don't want to ingest them. So take the coconut oil out of your kitchen and put it in your bathroom. You can use coconut oil on your hair, skin, and nails. You should not be eating the saturated fat though, but it is healthy for your hair, skin, and nails. Okay, so oil on the skin is not the same as ingesting it in the body. Okay, guys? So that was a good question. Okay. All right. Somebody said, what SOS-free seasonings will make the veggies taste tasty? There's a variety of seasonings. I don't have an answer. There's not one compilation. You know what I'm saying? Y'all, like, do your garlic, do your onion powder, do your herbs, do your cilantro, do your parsley, do your chili powder, do your cumin, do fresh lemon squeeze, there's so many. I don't have a certain specific combo of seasonings that's my favorite. Like, there's Cajun spice. There's so many different types of spices. So you can use liquid smoke to hook stuff up. Like, it just depends on what you're cooking. But like I said, we have recipes, and that might give you some ideas with those seasoning combinations in there. Next question. Somebody asked about self-promotion and self-sabotage. I'll talk about that later, about how to stop self-sabotaging. How do I not get bored with meals? Okay. So number one, you have to be willing to try something new. Most people go their whole lives eating the same 20 fruits and vegetables. And so what happens is when you take out meat, eggs, dairy, seafood, you truly believe there's nothing left to eat, because we all have developed a habit of going into the market and buying the same things over and over. I got my spinach, I got my potatoes, I got my onions, I got my bell peppers, right? I got my broccoli, I got my lettuce. Like, when's the last time you tried something new? So part of the challenge is we eat the same things over and over. And so taking something out feels like there's nothing left over. So now you're going to have to explore. Okay, I never made this quinoa thing. I always do rice. Let me check quinoa out. Oh my God. Okay, let me try lentils. I always just do kidney beans and black beans. Let me try there's so many other beans. What's these chickpeas all about? I've never done tempeh. I've never done tofu. There's so much more. The issue is our resistance to trying new things. So there's no shortage of things to eat. It's an unwillingness to try new things. So when you get the recipe book, look at those recipes so that you can try something new. And I would recommend, what we tell our students in Farm to Table is to have at least one new try a week. At least one new try a week, okay? And so that way you can start being like, oh, I didn't even know I could do this with a sweet potato, right? And we do eat sweet potatoes here, okay? We do eat potatoes, white potatoes, yellow, red potatoes, it's okay. All right, potatoes are fine. It's the fact that we usually dunk them in oil and then put sugar on top of them, or cheese or butter on top of them afterwards. That has historically been a problem. The potato itself is fine, okay? It's how we dressing it and how we cooking it. Okay, let's do some more questions. Ooh, child, Q&A ain't no joke. Okay, so next, let's see. What can I replace with if meals call for peanuts? And somebody else asked about tree nuts. Okay, so on a whole food plant-based diet, guys, you can easily have a nut allergy and still have plenty to choose from. So now I would say this, a lot of like the packaged vegan foods are going to be made with nuts, right? So like if you're trying to get a cheese or something like that, but if you're making stuff yourself, it's super easy to avoid nuts. But even when you buy certain things, like, it's super easy to avoid nuts. So like a plant milk, for example, you could just do a hemp milk. Like, you don't have to do an almond milk or a cashew milk, right? So it's so easy. You can do a soy milk. It's so easy to enjoy this diet without nuts. So you can still avoid nuts and still have a ton of options. And like I said, when we drop the recipe book, if you're VIP, you have the recipe book already. Everybody else, we get it December 1st. And you can check out all the options. We have plenty of recipes in there that don't require nuts. So avoiding nuts, if you have a nut allergy, is easy to do. And if you have a recipe that it's like add peanuts, just take them out. Just take them out. You know, everything doesn't need a replacement. Sometimes you could just take things out and it's okay. Okay. Somebody said, how do you keep your sanity so all the rest works, honey? Listen, now, here's the short answer. You got to watch the replay to the class I taught last month about how to combat chronic stress. That's where you start. Okay. We ain't got that type of time tonight, but I do have something I'm going to share with you guys later about what the shift that I personally had to make to stop being disappointed over and over again in my health journey. Because I personally have lost 60 plus pounds. I've maintained it with a whole food, plant-based vegan diet. But the biggest benefit that I've gotten since being on this lifestyle is how my mind works, how my brain works. So it's the sharpness of my mind is the thing that I'm so impressed with. It's the thing I'm most proud of. It's like how eating clean and how sharp my mind is. Like, do you know how bold it is to tell hundreds of people to ask me anything and then show up and I trust my brain to be able to access all that information? Like, that's a bold thing. I ain't say just ask me anything about diabetes or ask me anything about what. I was like, ask me anything. That's how much confidence I have in the sharpness of my intellect. You feel me? And that comes from eating plants. It comes from drinking water. It comes from meditation. It comes from having no chronic stress in my life. It comes from living a life of purpose so that I'm not stressed out and overwhelmed. I feel fulfilled. I feel like I've reached self-actualization. And so this challenge, when you guys download the protocol, it's not just a diet and exercise protocol. Like one of the things you're going to have to do throughout the month of January is spend at least 30 minutes a day with somebody you love and who loves you, because love heals. It's going to be spending time on a thing that you think you're meant to do. Have you put your dreams or your goals on the shelf? So the reason I'm able to show up with this much vigor, excitement, and confidence in what I know is because everything that I do outside of the kitchen as well. Okay, so you guys know health is a compilation of things. It's an amalgamation of things. It is not just eating plants every damn day and drinking water and exercising. That's not enough. It's not enough. And one of the biggest mistakes most of us have made with our health is we only micromanage how we move and what we eat. Those are not the biggest components of health. Okay, what's the number one indicator of a long life? Your longevity and the quality of your life. Is it your DNA? Is it your geographic? Is it your zip code? Is it your, what's the number one indicator of your potential longevity and the quality of your life? It is your social connections. It is relationships. So I don't care how clean you eat. I don't care how often you move. It is having healthy, high quality relationships. That's actually what makes the biggest impact on your health. So that's why we have that piece in our protocol that says you need to be spending 30 minutes a day with somebody you love and who loves you. Okay. We don't just look at health like a plant-based diet is a panacea, like it's going to solve all of your problems. It's not. But for a lot of y'all, let's talk about 80% of them. I ain't going to hold you. Okay. But back to the questions. All right. Back to the questions. I sometimes use liquid aminos in place of salt. But other than that, I don't have much soy in my diet. Is there a health risk in having too much soy in one's diet? Okay, let's bust the soy myth, shall we? Okay, so soy is not dangerous for you. If you believe it is, go ahead and avoid it. Just avoid it. It's okay. Like, you don't have to eat soy, okay? What I'm personally not going to do is argue back and forth with you, okay? We have two different type of receptors on our cell. We have beta and alpha receptors. So here's the confusion. People are like, hormones, right? Okay, we have beta and alpha receptors on our cells. And soy has been proven, study over study again, that it's actually health promoting, not disease promoting, not cancer promoting. It attaches to the beta receptors in our cell. And people are worried about the plant hormones in it. Plant hormones are not animal hormones. They are not animal hormones, okay? So soy is not disease promoting. However, if you have a personal affinity or you like, I've been taught different and I can't unlearn it and I refuse to believe anything else, is go ahead and just avoid it. For the rest of you who are not anti-soy, we do eat soy. So somebody who asks this question, which says, is there a health risk in having too much? The counter question I would have to ask there is, what do you mean by too much? I don't know what an amount is. I don't have you know how we just did the calculation for protein? We don't have a calculation for soy. So the issue for me with this question is it's too ambiguous in this too much language. I don't know what too much means, okay? But do we eat soy in general? Yes, we do. Yes, I do. I do eat tofu. I eat tempeh. I eat edamame, okay? I drink unsweetened soy milk. But if you don't feel comfortable with it, it's okay. Just don't have it. It's okay. But I'll say one of the best ways to go learn for yourself, one plant-based doctor that I like that talks about this a lot is Dr. Neal Barnard. He's the author of several books. One of them is called, I think, Your Hormones in Balance. And he talks about all the data and all the studies that have debunked the soy causes cancer argument. All right. So you guys feel free to read more and make your own personal decision. But there's no daily amount that I would categorize as too much. Okay. So that's soy. Next question that came via email says, which is better, agave, monk fruit, stevia, or honey? Agave, monk fruit, stevia, or honey? No. Next question. It's like, no, I will pause here for a minute. Okay. So sugar. what happens is, when we have a dependency on sugar, we're like, give me something, Lisa. Leave me with something, girl. Okay. And the challenge, guys, is these are all processed, refined sweeteners. Now, you can't get stevia with just the leaf. You can't get honey that's just pure honey. Now, I'll tell you, I personally don't consume any of them. I get my sweetness from fresh fruit or dried fruit, but I don't consume honey. I don't consume maple syrup. I don't consume agave because even though they might be classified as more natural or cleaner, like, no, Lisa, there's nothing in this bottle but honey. It's just pure honey. Here's the issue. The glycemic index is still extremely high. There's no fiber. And so it still has the potential to drive up your blood sugar. Okay. So that's the challenge. So I'm not saying that there's anything disease promoting in it. It's not what I'm suggesting. If it's a stevia or honey or maple syrup, whatever you consider a clean sugar. Okay. The issue is that the glycemic index is high and it still can increase your blood sugar, which is going to cause brain fog and memory loss. And it can still cause, and some of us, because we have a sugar addiction and we're trying to soothe ourselves, i.e. make ourselves feel better about not practicing abstinence, we will replace the worse sugar with the not as bad sugar, and we'll still have no self-control. Okay. And so we'll pour it in everything. We'll cook it and everything. So here's what I'll tell you. Sugar is one of the hardest things to let go of for our participants in this challenge. Sugar is a narcotic. Now, sugar does feed cancer cells for sure. Sugar causes weight gain. Sugar causes memory loss and brain fog. As a matter of fact, Alzheimer's is considered diabetes 3 because of how dangerous high blood sugar is to neurological functioning. So when we're talking about MCI, mild cognitive impairment, baby, sugar is all over that. When we talk about an unhealthy gut, acidic gut with a compromised immunity, baby, that's sugar all day. So here's the issue. Oh, Lisa, I don't have no weight to lose. I can afford a little sugar. Please listen to the replay of my masterclass. I ain't said nothing about weight. Just because you lean, just because you got muscles, don't mean you're immune to the toxicity of sugar. I am at a super healthy weight and I don't eat sugar. So it goes above and beyond weight, far beyond it. The reason I personally gave up sugar years ago is because I was stepping on stages, speaking and teaching, and I could not recall information. And here's what happens. A lot of people chalks it up to age. I'm just getting older. I can't remember stuff as quickly. No, put the candy down. Put the donuts down. Put the potato chips down. All that stuff got sugar in it. Put the processed bagged canned food down that has all this sugar in it because sugar is a preservative and extends shelf life. It has to go. So we're here because we're in what?
Treatment.
Treatment. I take it. Okay. So yes, you're here because you're in treatment. And I'm be honest, like when we get diagnosed with something like cancer or something, it scares the HE double hockey sticks out of us. And we are willing to do whatever it takes to put that thing in remission. I need you to have that same energy for high blood pressure. I need you to have that same energy with heart disease. I need you to have that same energy with depression, anxiety, bipolar. I need you to have that same energy with painful periods. I need you to have that same energy with endometriosis. I need you to have that same energy with fibroids. I need you to have that same energy with obesity. Stop acting like cancer is the worst thing that can happen to you. For most of you, the worst thing that can happen to you has already happened. It's already happening. You've been in a state of pain and suffering in your body and your mind for years. You've just normalized the dysfunction. And now you're going around saying stuff like, I'm not that bad. The sugar has got to go. Okay. Mm-hmm. So I don't want to hear any more questions from addicts. Well, where can I get a hit? No, go through detox and withdrawal from the narcotic and get your body and your mind back right so we can live long and live a life of radical obedience like we was meant to. Okay. Some of us are not performing and not executing on our assignments on this planet because we got brain fog. Can I even talk about how tired sugar makes you? How about y'all just tired all the time? Chronic fatigue. That's sugar because your blood sugar goes way up because you're eating sugar with a high glycemic index and you got a fiber deficiency. So you got no fiber and a whole bunch of sugar because it's honey or agave, or at least this is coconut sugar. Girl, put that mess down. So your blood sugar spikes and then it crashes in a few hours. Now you tired all the time and you can't figure out why you can't get your nonprofit off the ground. You're supposed to be helping them seniors. You were supposed to be help battered women. You were supposed to be help victims of homelessness. But what you doing? Tired all the time and letting your assignment on the shelf, and now you playing in God's face. Let me get back to the questions. Is there a daily eating regimen such as breakfast, lunch, dinner, or snacks? Yeah, we gonna give y'all a sample 7-day meal plan that I showed you in the portal. Are there intake quantities or serving sizes? No. I don't know if I understand the question. Are there intake quantities or serving sizes? I'm not sure. I apologize. I don't feel like I fully understand that part of the question. I mean, the recipes will tell you, I guess, approximately how many quantities the stuff will make, but I'm going to safely say no. Somebody else said, how do you manage when you are the only one in your household eating vegan and you still have to cook meat? That's going to be a personal choice. So you can make a decision. Here's what we tell our students in Farm to Table. When you're making a major lifestyle change, like giving up animal products when you've been eating this stuff with your family forever, like y'all got, maybe you and hubby or your spouse or your mate got date night every week. Y'all do pizza. Y'all go to your favorite steak place. One of our students was like, Lisa, I bake cookies with my kids every Friday. It's a thing we do. What am I supposed to do if we can't bake chocolate chip cookies? And so there's all these like nuances with like the practical integration into our lifestyle, which I truly respect. So the first thing we tell our students to do is you need to have the talk with these people. So like, this is a major lifestyle change. And even though, some of you guys might just do it for 30 days, and then others of you will feel so amazing and you will retain a lot of these habits. You have to let people know what you're doing, and you have to have the conversation on what you need to be supported. Okay. So if you do still choose to cook animal products and things for your family, that's fine. I'm not suggesting you don't, but either you need to request some help or think of meals where you can maybe not eat the chicken, but you can have the rest of the sides, the rest of the meal. Like, okay, I'll do the veg, I'll do a roasted sweet potato, I'll do whatever, so that you can still make one meal and just not eat a portion of it or something. Because when you have to make 2 separate meals on a regular basis, that's just not sustainable for a lot of y'all. It's just not, right? And so have a conversation with these individuals so that you guys can make decisions together. Like, look, babe, I've been struggling with my weight for years, or I've been trying to get this blood pressure down, and I found a protocol that I want to try. I'm about to go into treatment, and here's what it needs to look like. How can we make this work for me for this amount of time? Can we share some cooking responsibilities? Would you be willing to eat a plant-based meal a couple of nights a week with me? Like, have conversations versus just trying to jump in and you haven't consulted your family and the people in your life who this is going to truly impact, right? That's the best I can tell you from that standpoint.
Wow. I really sometimes forget how much information and science that we share and teach during our 30-day challenges until I listen back to episodes like this. I hope I answered some of your questions about what this lifestyle really looks like and what it takes to be healthy throughout these 30 days and longer. Listen, if you are interested in learning even more about how to apply the things that I taught in this episode to optimize your personal health, physical, mental, or emotional, I invite you to click the link in the show notes and make sure you're registered for our next 30-day vegan, salt, oil, and sugar-free challenge. It's the perfect pairing of the science plus the community plus coaching and all the things that you need in order to finally move the needle in your health. If we've answered your questions here, but you got more, click that link. If we've answered all of your questions and you know it's time to make some major changes, click that link. If you have still doubts and you need to ask direct questions, talk to a coach, talk to the community, see some results, click that link. The point is, get your tail registered for our next 30-day vegan, salt, oil, and sugar-free challenge. We'll see you on the inside. You tuned in today because, like me, you refuse to let your good become the enemy of your great. You're not settling for good health when optimal is well within reach. If you're ready to go from good to great, visit lisaangelsmith.com to learn more about our plant-based health coaching program, Farm to Table, and our plant-based business accelerator and coaching certification. But before you go, if you enjoyed what you heard today, please consider rating and reviewing this podcast. Until next time, remember, radical obedience is still undefeated. Stay obedient.